Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast, brought to you by Briar Greaves Insurance. Protecting your assets starts with a company that you can count on. So whether it's auto, homeowners, flood, boaters, or business insurance, there's nobody better in the business to work with than the great people over at Briar Greaves Insurance. For more information about them, visit their website, briargreavesinsurance.com, or give them a call at 813-876-4166. That's 813-876-4166. And make sure you give Briar Greaves Insurance a call, because if you chat with them about how they can help you and your insurance needs, you will automatically be entered into a raffle to win tickets to the Bucs Falcons Thursday night creamsicle game later on in December. So make sure you give Briar Greaves Insurance a call. It is a Pewter post-game show following the Bucs' third loss of the season. They fell to the New England Patriots 28-23 in a very frustrating game where the Bucs had many opportunities that were unfortunately squandered. But they had chances to win this game, but came up short in this one. So we're going to talk about it all, recap it, and get to plenty of comments and super chats as well. I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined live from Raymond James Stadium is Scott Reynolds. Scott, based on Baker Mayfield's post-game press conference and you being in the locker room, definitely seemed like an angry bunch, but at the same time, feels like the Bucs have no one to blame but themselves for the way that this game unfolded.
Yeah, make no mistake, the Patriots are a good football team. They are. I mean, they're 8-2 now for a reason. They've taken on the identity of their head coach, Mike Vrabel. He is a tough, physical dude, and it's kind of permeated this team. This is a tough defense. It's a tough offense. Drake May is a tough-minded player, and this was a game that kind of was there for the taking for the Buccaneers. They had an opportunity once Tyke Smith had that interception in the end zone. That was huge. And you kind of felt like, well, is this going to be one of those Baker Mayfield fantastic finishes? And it looked like it was going to be up until 3rd and 3, right outside of the red zone, right? And that's where it all kind of fell apart for the Buccaneers. I thought Josh Grizzard's play calling was good out of the gate, and then kind of hit some lulls, almost like parallel with Baker Mayfield, right? Just They couldn't find the answers today. And part of this was the Patriots. Their defense is stout. The other part of it, though, was they had some execution problems. They had some protection problems. And, it was frustrating, certainly at times for Baker Mayfield, frustrating for the Buccaneers. This is not a bad loss in terms of the Patriots team we thought was going to come in here, a team that was 4-13 over the last 2 years. No, this is a very good Patriots team. They're legit, and they're now undefeated on the road, right? So not trying to make excuses for the Buccaneers, but as Baker Mayfield kind of alluded to, and I had a chance to talk to Graham Barton after the game, they have some mistakes that happen during the weekend practice, and that's okay as long as those get corrected. And what they're seeing is the same mistakes they're making in practice, they're showing up on Sundays, and it's coming back to bite the Bucs. And this offense is not living up to its potential. And of course, we saw another injury today. Ben Bredesen, the left guard, not out with the shoulder, which he was dealing with during this week in practice, but instead it was a hamstring issue. And I had a chance to see Ben after the game, and he's not coming back anytime soon. I mean, this is a limp, like he's limping big time on that right hamstring. So, we thought we're going to see 4 out of 5 offensive linemen in terms of the starters, but that wasn't the case. We saw it for a minute, but then Mike Jordan had to be inserted at left guard for Ben Bredesen. So just enough mistakes on offense and defense to allow the Patriots to come in, and they didn't make as many mistakes as Tampa Bay did. No, not as many self-inflicted wounds, and as a result, they win a close game.
Right. You finally think you're going to have the offensive line intact. And, man, that was a beautiful first drive by Tampa Bay to start the game, marched right down the field. Emeka Egbuka looking like Emeka Egbuka from the first 3 weeks of the season, scores a touchdown. And then the offense just went stagnant. And we'll talk about the defense and the big plays that they allowed. But when I look at this game, to me, the offense is the reason why Tampa Bay lost this afternoon. Yes, there were some big plays allowed, and even trying to stop the run and call the timeouts, and the Bucs blew it at the end there. They still got that interception before screwing up on the 3rd and 14. They kept giving the Bucs offense chances
They did.
down the field and go ahead and take the lead. And time again, the Bucs just weren't able to. And to compound those frustrations, they were able to run the football against a team that is spectacular.
Yeah.
That's the run. Sean Tucker was fantastic. They had some good end arounds with Sterling Shepard and Cameron Johnson, but Baker certainly missed some throws. There was times where guys weren't able to get open. I don't understand. I was fine with the screens, but there was Sterling Shepard. I don't even mind that it was on 3rd down because we saw the Patriots run a pitch play on a 3rd and 10 and get a first down.
Yeah.
But why are you calling a screen pass to your slowest wide receiver on the field that plays a significant amount of snaps? I didn't understand that. So I agree. Like, Josh Broussard started out great. Then it kind of went downhill. It picked up a little bit. But between Baker and Josh Broussard, I thought it was subpar performances from the two of them. But I like that Baker was very feisty, not like with the media specifically, but he's fiery after the game, talking about holding people accountable. It's the same as they had in the game, having a sense of pride. And that this thing, we should be really mad. We should be afraid to fail. It was a good way of Baker, who also did take accountability for some of the miscues. But he's trying to find a different way to fire these guys up because he knows there's no reinforcements. Mike Evans isn't coming back.
That's right.
The tail end of the season, probably the postseason. Who knows when Chris Godwin Jr. is coming back? So good for Baker for showing some leadership. But you wish you saw it in the game because there were a lot of chances, especially at the end.
Yeah, and again, I think Tez Johnson had a really good game. I know there's people griping about not getting a veteran receiver, but I mean, Tez Johnson had 2 touchdowns today, and Emeka Egbuka had 100 yards. I don't know that the lack of talent at wide receiver was part of the problem today. Again, like Baker Mayfield, I think Josh Broussard was very hit and miss. Right? I mean, he had plenty of hits. I love the end arounds, right? You saw them pick up 2 first downs, right? One with Sterling Shepard, one with Cam Johnson. Yeah. And I like the creativity. The Buccaneers ran the ball exceptionally well today. That 113 yards on the ground with a team that was number 1 in terms of rush defense. That's a positive sign because the Buccaneers have not been consistently able to produce a running game. And part of that has been not having Bucky Irving, having a revolving door along the offensive line. That's contributed to that. But they were able to do that today. Matter of fact, Sean Tucker became the first running back to eclipse 50 yards against the Patriots defense this year. They had set an NFL record to start the season with 9 straight games without allowing a running back to hit 50 yards. Sean Tucker was able to do that. That's why it was such a head scratcher with the play call on 3rd and 3 and 4th and 3. To me, what you want to do, if you want to throw the ball in one of those downs, run the ball on 3rd down. See if you can get the first down. If you can't, then it's 4th and 1, and then you're in that pass run kind of option. But the other thing that we haven't seen is Baker Mayfield just simply has not taken off and scrambled. And I don't know if that's due to the oblique, due to the knee. I know there were a couple of times where he was trying to navigate and move around the pocket. He didn't have enough, clear running lanes. But he has not taken off and run and picked up yardage. He has not had those hero plays really since the Lions game. And that was where he injured his oblique. And of course, the knee has been bothering him the whole season. So that's usually an X factor. And I asked Todd Bowles about that today, and Todd kind of snapped back at me, and I don't mind it a bit. But he said, Baker's a quarterback. He needs to pass the ball, right? He's not a runner. He's made those plays, but we got to get open. We got to pass protect better. Baker's got to hit those throws. And he's not wrong.
Correct.
It's just that is what makes Baker Baker. Just like if you were to say Josh Allen, you have to stay in the pocket. You're not allowed to run the ball. Josh Allen isn't Josh Allen, right? Mm-hmm. And that's going to be an interesting game next week, right? Because the Buccaneers are
today.
The Bills got smoked, and they're going to be pissed off like the Lions were getting smoked by the Chiefs the week before. So you're going to have a pissed off Bucs team versus a pissed off Bills team next week in Orchard Park. That's going to be a fascinating matchup. And right now, neither one of the offenses are playing that great. So, but I think if you were to ask Todd Bowles, he is absolutely pissed about giving up the big plays. 2 huge explosive touchdown runs by Travion Henderson. So really no Ramondre Stevenson, no problem for the Patriots. This guy was more explosive than Stevenson ever was. That, and then just doing the little things, right? I mean, it wasn't like, this was the game right here, but certainly from a point standpoint, if they get a stop here and just great throw, great catch beats great coverage, and that's what happened on the Stephon Diggs touchdown over Winfield on that 4th down right before halftime. But, if they don't get that, who knows what happens in the second half. But it happens, and Todd Bowles' defense just wasn't good enough today. They did have 1 takeaway. That wasn't enough. They had, 1 sack. That wasn't good enough. So it just was not the usual kind of dominant defense that we've seen from this Bucs defense. They gave up big plays, and it cost them.
So frustrating with the Bucs defense, because if you take out the 4 big plays, it was a really good performance, but you obviously can't.
But you can't do that. Yeah.
You can't. And like the big runs, this is becoming more of a trend. They allowed a huge run to Jahmyr Gibbs against the Lions just a couple of weeks ago. And now they allowed 2 and essentially closed out the game against the Patriots today with Travion Henderson. I'm still way more concerned about the offense than I am the defense right now. But we've seen there's a trend now that the Bucs are allowing some big splash plays that they haven't previously, which also concerns me because now Todd Bowles may turtle back to we're going to play 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, because the Patriots were not running the football at all. And then, bam, they just rip off a 70-yard run and then another 70-yard run. It's a very complexing and confusing way to describe how the defense played today. And then ultimately they made a play at the end of the game to give the offense another chance, but they shouldn't have even been in that situation. A 3rd and 14 and you allow a play like that. It's just, honestly, it's pathetic and it's inexcusable. I'm having a tough time wrapping my head around the Bucs defense. I'm having a tough time understanding why Benjamin Morrison is playing in the game when Jamel Dean has been your best corner this season. So, a lot of things still to fix on the defensive side as well.
Yeah, I mean, we got to stop here for a second. I understand that you're trying to develop Benjamin Morrison, okay? But here's the thing. The train has left the station, folks, okay? The train is on the tracks. And Benjamin Morrison is playing catch-up because, unfortunately, it's not his fault. Injuries typically are not the fault of players. But Benjamin Morrison has missed the majority of training camp. He missed all 3 preseason games. That is the developmental time for rookies. And he missed them. And Todd Bowles is trying to play catch-up with Ben Morrison right now to get him ready for next year. But here's the thing, Matt. We didn't see him do this with Zion McCollum when Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean were the starting corners. Zion McCollum in his second year got in there because of injuries, right? Those injuries, I should say the third year. Those injuries were happening every other week, and Zion wound up being a starter because it was either Davis or Dean who was getting injured in Zion's second season, and he got playing time because of that. But we didn't see Zion rotate in with Carlton Davis or Jamel Dean otherwise. And the fact that he's trying to force Benjamin Morrison to get these reps now, it certainly cost the Buccaneers today. I mean, in back-to-back plays, essentially, he had the 70-plus yard touchdown catch given up to Kyle Williams. Yeah. And then he had a defensive pass interference that gave the Patriots some life and a first down when they were backed up near their own end zone. So, it's not that Zion McCollum has played like a world beater. He gave up a huge play to Matt Collins, down the stretch here. Matt, it's worrisome, that this is happening. And you just have to wonder why you're taking your best cornerback off the field. If anything, and I know that there's some politics here because Zion just got all the money that you essentially stripped of Dean, you've given to Zion. Zion still to this day has no interceptions. He's not the best cornerback on this team. And I love Zion to death. I want him to play better, and I know he does too. But the thing is if you're going to take a cornerback off the field, it needs to be Zion McCollum. If you want to rotate Benjamin Morrison in, that should be the guy, in my opinion. because Jamel Dean, all he's done is lead your team in 3 interceptions, and he had a great tackle today on a 3rd down and 2 forced fumbles. And plus, he's got a sack this year. I haven't seen the splash plays from Zion McCollum this year at all. And so that's where I stand on this. How about you, Matt?
And Zion was the one that got beat deep on that last big throw on the 3rd and 14.
Hollins,
I hate to say it, but I said it on the game day show, and I'll say it here. Zion hasn't lived up to his contract extension.
No, he hasn't.
He just flat out hasn't. And again, he hasn't played bad, but when you're going to guarantee $35 million to a player at a very important position, you need more from Zion McCollum. Yeah. And he just hasn't brought it. He had some nice pass breakups. But when you have a guy that we said, we're either going to cut you or that's it. And he says, you know what? I'll take less years on my contract so I can stay in Tampa. And he's the one being the best player. I don't know. That's a bit of a problem for this team. In the long haul, I think Zion will figure it out. I think Jamel Dean will continue playing at a high level. Yeah. But the Benjamin Morrison thing, I think, has to stop. He almost got beat deep against the Saints, but it was an overthrow by the quarterback. And the Patriots just picked, as soon as Benjamin Morrison got in the game, they just picked on him. That's what they did over and over and over. And that's what other teams are going to do as well. So I'm curious if they'll make that adjustment.
Yeah. Lugs Gaming says, you guys going to pussyfoot around with Bowles and Light during pressers because both have some explaining to do. Jason Light's not going to have a presser. He does not talk during the season. That's normal, whether this team's winning or losing. He, like most general managers, like outside of Jerry Jones, who is the owner / de facto general manager for the Cowboys, most of them don't talk during the season. So this is not uncommon. It's not like Jason Light's hiding from the media. This is football season. This is Todd Bowles time. So Todd Bowles is the mouthpiece of the Buccaneers. And again, the Buccaneers could be undefeated right now. You're not going to hear from Jason Light. He's not even hardly doing, he might do 1 or 2 national media appearances, to repay a favor or something with the host. But he'll talk in the offseason. This is not his time. Todd Bowles was asked by Rick Stroud. I was sitting next to Rick, and he asked him about Benjamin Morrison, and he kind of said, Coach, you're Benjamin Morrison's giving up plays. You're taking your Pro Bowl caliber corner out there. And he said, we have a plan. We've been doing this all year. We asked the question, I can't make Todd Bowles coach better. I can't make him stop putting Benjamin Morrison in. If he's going to do that, he's going to do that. That's just how it is.
You probably have a better chance of tweeting at Jason Light. He might respond there because he will respond every now and then. So I do wonder, because now we're looking at, and the Seattle win was great. It's fantastic. And they're kicking the crap out of the Cardinals right now, 28-0. But you look at some of the other matchups. The Bucs lost to the Eagles. The Bucs got destroyed by the Lions. And now they lost to the Patriots today. You have the Bills next week, who are still a good team despite what happened today. Yeah, right. And you have the Rams, who are up 21-0 right now against the 49ers. I don't know. I like the title of the show with the getting a reality check and a gut check because I don't know, the Bucs after these next 2 games, we might have to be asking ourselves: are they contenders or are they pretenders? Because some of the toughest moments they have, they have great come from behind wins. Don't get me wrong, but the further the season has gone along, they haven't shown their mettle and their toughness and their intestinal fortitude against some of the better teams. So I'm very curious how they respond next week against Buffalo. I think that's fair. And Matt, I think you and I are in unison. And I think Buccaneer fans, you got to look at reality too a little bit here. We said this team needs to be at least 1-3 out of these next 3 games, right? Now that they've lost the first one, that was the Patriots game. And as much as you wanted to win this game, Buccaneer fans, and trust me, the Bucs wanted to win it too. We have said the most important win, if you're going to get one, and it's going to suck because it's going to come at the expense of 2 losses, but if you had to win one and you could pick which one it was going to be, you want to win that Rams game. And that's going to be tough, man. That's going to be tough on Sunday Night Football out in L.A. against that defense. Sean McVay's offense versus Todd Bowles' defense has not always ended well for Tampa Bay. We know that firsthand. But that's the one. This is an AFC defeat. It's not as bad as another NFC loss would be. If you do go out there and you upset the Rams, because I'm sure the Bucs will be the underdog in that game. If you pull off the upset on the road there, then you have a head-to-head win over
another NFC playoff team, more than likely, right? And you already have one against the 49ers. You already have one against Seattle. And thankfully for Tampa Bay, if you're looking for the silver lining, the Panthers lost today to the Saints, and the Falcons lost in overtime over in Germany to the Colts. So they didn't lose any ground in the NFC South today. They had an opportunity. If they could have had one more of those fantastic fourth quarter finishes, they could have had a 2.5 game lead over Carolina, really put some distance between themselves and the rest of the NFC South. It didn't happen, but and I'm not making excuses. I'm looking at their 3 losses. Lions are still a really good team.
Yeah.
The Patriots are a good team. You're not 8-2 just with flukes. I mean, you're a good team, especially when you're undefeated on the road. And then you lose to the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles, who are on top of the NFC East right now. It's not like they've had a bad loss, but
correct.
It does put some pressure on this team. You've got to win those winnable games. You cannot have a stub your toe game down the stretch. You've got to handle business against the Cardinals, against the Saints. You can do no worse than at least split with the Panthers, if not sweep the Panthers. You must beat the Falcons on Thursday Night Football, and you got to take care of business against the Dolphins team that I don't know. They must. I was going to say something derogatory like how much cocaine are they doing down there in Miami, the way they're playing, but I'm not going to say that. So I'm going to bite my tongue instead. But I don't know what's up with the Dolphins. They fired their general manager. I guess that was the spark they needed.
Yeah,
right,
maybe.
To get that franchise going. I don't know, but I can't explain it. But one thing that we always can explain is ourselves when you guys super chat us. So we're going to take some super chats right now.
Yes. So starting off with Virgin Boys, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says this team is not a winning a playoff game. We give up too many big plays, and we should have kept Liam Cohen. This is what Jason gets for making no trades. Well, Liam Cohen blew a huge lead to the Texans today, but I digress.
Yeah. I mean, you can't keep Liam Cohen if he's going to be a head coach. That's what he wanted to do. So that's it. And, which player did you want to trade for that's going to make the difference in this game? I mean, at this point, the trading deadline is gone. We're playing fantasy football here, legitimately. Okay, this is not Madden where you can force trades. I mean, who did you want that you didn't get that would have made the difference today? So maybe Jalen Phillips. All right, get him. Is he going to get a sack in this game? I don't know. You can't say that. We don't. There's not another Marvel timeline here, another multiverse where we can go in and see how that would have played out. Yaya Diaby didn't get a sack today. Anthony Nelson looked like a reserve outside linebacker today, not at all like the guy we saw in the Saints, and that's kind of. He played above his ability in New Orleans. He kind of played back towards the mean today. So I don't know, guys. You got to get over the trade deadline thing. We are where we are with this team, and no deals were done. I do know for a fact they were in on some players, and the price was just way too high. And I don't know if those players would have made a difference.
Yeah, I think the problem too is the big fish that people wanted was Trey Hendrickson and Max Crosby. The Raiders came out right away and said, we're not trading Max Crosby. And then Trey Hendrickson got hurt. So when those two edge rushers didn't become available, I don't know what they were supposed to do. Now, if Max Crosby was available, I can see the anger and just being like, hey, listen, if it cost a second this year and a second next year, I think you got to pull the trigger on that type of trade. But that trade was never available. It was just a figment of everyone's imagination. If one of those guys were available, I can definitely understand being critical, and I'd probably be a little bit critical as well. But neither of those players were available at this current moment, and they weren't going to do it in the offseason when they had signed Hassan Reddick, and they wanted to roll the dice with Reddick. Paul Morales, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, says, out-coached after a bye is diabolical, more so on the offensive side. Yeah,
I mean – They didn't make enough plays. It's that simple. Ty Bull says we didn't make enough plays in offense, didn't make enough plays in defense. Patriots made those plays. They won. Patriots are a good team, folks. I mean, again, I'm not trying to excuse this loss, but it's like they're 8-2 right now. And, if you play this game 10 times, one of these teams is probably going to win 6. The other one's going to win 4. And it might be the Bucs winning 6. They just didn't show up today like they needed to and execute. I don't know. Maybe the Buccaneers win 4 out of the 10. But this was a tough fought, close game. They had their chance, and they didn't get it done on those 3rd and 3 and 4th and 3 plays. And if they did that, They might have had an opportunity to go ahead and get it, and they just didn't have that Mayfield magic today that we're used to seeing.
I just wonder when the Mayfield magic is going to come back, because this was right in the wheelhouse of like driving the ball down the field, scoring with 45 seconds left or something like that. And yeah, just never came about, unfortunately.
Yep, I agree.
Bucs Basement, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says reality check. Bowles is 1-4 after the bye. Jason Light refused to make a move, and we saw Dennis give up 2 touchdowns. This loss is on them. 0-3 coming. Well, we kind of already addressed the trades. If you wanted them to find depth at inside linebacker, I understand that. But again, it wasn't like.
I have a news flash for you, Bucs fans. You're not going to like me. You're not going to like hearing this, okay? Go get Jordan Brooks. Go get Tyrell Dobson from the Dolphins. Go get Quincy Williams from the Jets. None of those players is playing in this game today. None of them.
Yeah,
they're not dressing in this game. You don't come to Todd Bowles' defense on Wednesday and then start or even rotate in at linebacker on Sunday. Not with this defensive scheme, not with the intricacies, not with the packages, the coverage packages, the blitz packages, the exotic stuff. It doesn't happen. Whatever linebacker you want to magically replace Gervasi Dennis was not going to play today. He was not going to be on the field. No trade happened, and even if one did, you're talking about a player having to come in and probably not seeing the field for 3 weeks, okay? So there goes your Patriots, your Bills, and your Rams game. Todd Bowles is not going to put even a veteran player out there on the field. He would put Deion Jones in before he would put in the linebacker he were to acquire in this mythical Madden trade. It just wasn't going to happen. This is not Madden, folks. Put down the controller. Right? I hate to scold you guys, but it's like you got to do it in reality here. Okay. It just was not going to happen. And, Gervasi Dennis, I'll go back and look at the film. He had one tackle, probably didn't play great. He had one pass breakup that I saw. I think Tyke Smith and Elijah Roberts were maybe the culprit on the first touchdown run by Trey Henderson. I got to go back and look at the film, but they didn't make a trade. Got to move on. Right, the train is rolling down the tracks right now. This is the team, like it or not. This is the team,
right? And then we'll reassess after the season where they need to, address certain spots. Which inside linebacker will be one of them.
Yep.
Paul Bowen, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says kept giving it away on third down. That's definitely true. They were atrocious on third down today, offensively, defensively better, but.
5 of 14,
especially on a third.
Patriots were 5 of 14. Bucs were 5 of 13 on third down. Neither one of these teams were great on third down. Patriots just made a couple more big plays, and they capitalized on it. That's it. That's the end of the game.
And they got the key third down in the biggest moment of the game on that 3rd and 14.
They did. Yes.
That one I might be just as mad as Bucs fans are at Jason Light for not making the trade. Henry Gigante, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says, what are these play calls on offense? 3rd and 9 throwing screens. What the hell is that? Baker inconsistent with his throws. Defense on third down is atrocious. So I said this on the game day show, and the game kept going, and I think it can fluctuate anywhere. But if I was putting blame on the offense, if it's only between Josh Grizzard and Baker Mayfield, because they get most of the credit and not enough of the blame, and vice versa, whatever that saying is, I probably have it at 60-40 on Baker, followed by Josh Grizzard. And that can fluctuate here and there. Baker's throw and that underthrow when he was going for Emeka Egbuka, it looked like it was either too high for Tess Johnson or way too short for Emeka Egbuka. That was tough. He had a couple of wide throws early on. Baker even admitted that throw to Kate Otten at the end is probably a first down instead of going for 3rd and 3 and 4th and 3. And then Grizzard, again, the screen I don't mind. It's the screen to Sterling Shepard on a 3rd and long that I have an issue with. Not running at the end, tough. Getting away from the run at times when it was so successful. I will say I did like the implementation of Sean Tucker running the ball a lot more than Rachaad White, because it's just clear he's a better runner, strictly a runner right now.
5.9 yards per carry, Matthew. 18-yard run. Yeah, for sure.
Rich B has now been a Pewter Report YouTube channel member for 13 months. Thank you very much. Says, offense looks lost. Baker locked on Emeka Buka. That was another thing. Slow to find Cade or Tez, who flashed late. Where's Cameron Johnson? Feeney getting blown up on every play. Haggard was okay versus the 49ers. Why bench him? Worried about Grizzard.
Well, Haggard didn't dress today. He was not ready to go. The shoulder was not cooperating. He was not a starting caliber guy today. So, and that's why he was inactive. So Haggard was inactive, and so was Elijah Klein. They had Michael Jordan up because he was further along with his knee. And of course, he had to play because Ben Bredesen, was out for most of the game, got injured early on that first drive with a hamstring. And he didn't look like he's coming back anytime soon. He was limping heavily after that game. That leg was wrapped. This is going to be a multi-week injury for Ben Bredesen, so don't expect him to come back anytime soon. This is not like a Tez Johnson where it's going to feel better during the week and he'll give it a go. He's going to be out for multiple games here. So I'm with you. I'd like to see more Cam Johnson. I know he had one, I don't know if it was a drop, but he didn't connect with Baker across the middle, but
yeah,
he does have some ability. If you're going to throw a screen, I didn't like throwing the tight end screen to Cade Otton. That got blown up. They tried to screen with Rachaad White. That got blown up. If you're going to throw screens, I'd like to see it with Tez or with Cam Johnson, guys that have some wiggle and some instant acceleration. Because when you're playing against a tough physical defense like the Patriots, they're not going to miss the tackles. They're going to be in the right spot. You're going to have to make a guy miss. And Cade Otton can't make guys miss. And Rachaad White really can't make guys miss. So to me, I think that's kind of the learning lesson here for Josh Grizzard is, man, if you're going to throw the screens, put the ball in the hands of guys that can do something with it. And at least we saw an explosive end around for Cam Johnson. Maybe he gets some more play. Not that this guy's a world beater by any means, but I think he has a role for some of those gadget plays, the end arounds, the screen passes, some of those plays where he just has the speed to make things happen. And hopefully we'll see more of that. Folks, if you are in need of legal assistance, we've got the right people to call, and that's Jorgensen Law.
Welcome to Jorgensen Law, PA, where our family's legacy drives us to fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury, workers' compensation, and Social Security, we're committed to winning for you. No fees unless we succeed. Trust in our family to help yours. Let's achieve justice together.
And they are a family. The Jorgensen Law Group is a family of attorneys. The Jorgensen brothers are huge Tampa Bay fans and Pewter Report fans. So give them your business. If you have the need for legal representation for personal injury, for workers' comp, for Social Security, they are the champions of the injured and disabled. Their office is located in St. Petersburg. Get a free case evaluation and no fees until they win. So you can't lose with Jorgensen Law. Give them a call at 727-347-7733. That's 727-347-7733, or visit them on the web at jorgensenlawoffice.com.
Moving on with the super chats. Thank you to the Real Maverick for this $5 super chat. Says the defense gave up too many big plays. Offense had no rhythm. Don't like the play call on 3rd and 3. Still a good team. New England is just better. Have to rebound next week. I think the key, what you said there, the Real Maverick, and you're spot on about all of it, is the rhythm. Because we've missed the rhythm with the Bucs offense, what feels like for the last 3 games. And that's what's concerning. If this was an outlier and this was the first time the offense looked like this, fine. You could shake it off, say it's a bad game, and chalk it up to that. But this is really 3 games in a row now where we'd seen subpar offense, not finding its flow until a little bit too late. And you thought they would have had it after sustaining such a great drive to begin the game. And then you thought maybe they regained it again with, scoring that touchdown in the second half. But it was too much start and stop, and they were never really able to get their full-time footing.
Yeah, it was frustrating, and that's one thing Todd Bowles said is he was upset at the offense and the defense for not being in rhythm, and I think that's spot on. It's unfortunate that they had those lulls. I mean, they came out like gangbusters. That first touchdown drive had the Patriots on their heels, and that's one thing Baker Mayfield said was, he kind of said, we sense, and I'm paraphrasing, but the gist of what he said, and correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, you heard the press conference too.
Yeah.
We kind of felt pretty good about ourselves, and we need to not be satisfied with that. We have to treat it like it's 0-0, not like, oh, we have a lead 7-0, and develop that killer instinct on offense. And I think that's something that has to come within the locker room, within the huddle. And this team just needs to be has to play with a little bit more of an edge on offense. And I think getting Luke Gedeke back, it played dividends in the running game for sure, because the enforcer was back in the huddle. We saw the Buccaneers. That's an accomplishment, man. Running for 113 yards on the #1 rushing defense in the league. It wasn't enough today, Matt, but I think it's going to pay some dividends in weeks to come, having Luke Gedeke back. And even without Bredesen, they still had 113 yards. Now, 40 of that rushing yards was in the first quarter, but I think they finished strong. Sean Tucker, I thought, got better as the game went on. I'd like to see more of Tuck, if I'm being honest, at running back. He's the kind of guy, if there's a crease or a hole, he's going to get you more yards than Rachaad White.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, unfortunately, Rachaad White has kind of just played himself into a third down running back. He's a guy that you can trust to start in a game, but when you have another option of someone that at this point has the proof that he can go and make big plays, and not just the New Orleans game last season, he looked pretty good, 2 weeks ago against New Orleans as well. He's got a little more pop to his game, so I think the Bucs should definitely lean into that just a little bit.
Let me address one thing I'm seeing in the chat here, and I appreciate everybody's comments. I'm not trying to pick fights or anything like that. I'm just trying to offer some perspective here. And that's why you guys tune in, so we're going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Liam Cohen's offense last year didn't have Mike and Chris for like 3 games. Outside of that, Mike played 14 games last year out of the 17.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mike is gone. Chris is gone. Bucky is gone. Bucky played every game last year except for the majority of the Raiders game because he got hurt in the Panthers game. So Bucky played in all 17 games, right? The interior offensive line of Graham Barton and Cody Mauch and Ben Bredesen played all but 1 game together. And you had Graham Barton not playing against the Saints in New Orleans. You had a veteran, Robert Hainsey, step in. They still ran for 277 yards. They dropped a 50-burger on the Saints. Tristan Wirfs missed 1 game and parts of another. At left tackle, Gedeke missed 4. So if you add up all of the offensive line starting snaps last year, there's no way that this starting offensive line can even come close to that. With the amount of games missed, Cody Mauch has been out since week 2. He's not coming back, right? The Buccaneers didn't have any offensive linemen on injured reserve last year. They've already had 2 this year. Luke Gedeke was on, and he came back. He missed, 6 games? And Cody Mauch is going to miss the final 15 games. Tristan Wirfs missed the first 3 games. Already, they've missed more games than all of the offensive line missed all of last year. So right off the bat, you're playing with a losing hand if you're Josh Grizzard. All right. And then throw on top of that, Chris coming back is not at all what we hoped or expected. Bucky's missed the majority of the season so far. Mike will miss the majority of the season. Is not ideal. It just isn't. But at the same time, Liam Cohen had a much better hand dealt to him last year. We were like crying for Liam a little bit. Oh, he doesn't have Mike and Chris. Well, he had pretty much everybody else. This year, it is way worse for Josh Grizzard. So I think we just have to kind of have some perspective about this too. And I'm not blaming injuries because that's why you have 53 guys in your roster. You have to have backups to step in and fill in. But they're backups for a reason. They're not Cody Mauch. Dan Feeney was not Cody Mauch. He was on a practice squad, right? Mike Jordan has not been Bredesen. Charlie Eck was not Luke Gedeke. So that's just the facts. Injuries suck.
How it is. Cruz on the radio. Thanks for this $1.99 super chat. Says O-line, Baker, Grizzard struggling. So frustrating. Yeah, the whole team needs to pick it up, and the whole offensive side needs to pick it up. It's it's not like one guy has really been shining, maybe outside of like Emeka Egbuka. Cade Otton had a really good game today too, receiving wise.
Yeah.
But it's going to take everyone.
And it's going to take the defense too, Matt. It's going to take the defense getting some takeaways, getting some sacks, some strip sacks. holding teams to field goals rather than touchdowns, right? It's going to take both sides of the ball.
Yeah, all touchdowns today. Paul Morales for New England. Paul Morales, thanks for the $1.99 super chat, says, more unimpressed with Tampa than impressed with New England. I think that's fair to say. Like, their defense was able to generate pressures, but I still blame the Bucs more for their lack of execution on offense than like the Patriots getting stops. Now, in big moments, they got the sack on Baker on fourth down and didn't even get a throw off. So I'm with you there, and I still think teams are going to be able to pressure New England. The Bucs just didn't do a good enough job of it today. Yeah,
I want to hit this real quick here, Matt. Just Tron Legacy says Baker is rusty because Bowles gave the team too much time off. No, this team, and I don't know about you, Matt. I asked a lot of Buccaneers in the locker room. They needed that week off. They were beat up, banged up mentally. It's a long season, man. The NFL really, Matt, I think has to go to 2 bye weeks, especially if these owners, and they're going to get it sooner rather than later, they're going to get 18 games. It's going to come down to 2 preseason games and 18 regular season games. Yeah. That's where we're heading. Got to have 2 bye weeks. The product is suffering. These injuries, your best players are vanishing each week, and they're getting in quicksand on the injury reports. Do the right thing, man. Roger Goodell is so full of crap sometimes about player safety. Dude, you play Thursday night games after you're making these teams play Sunday, because of greed. That has nothing to do with player safety. Okay, these players are frigging exhausted. Rondé Barber told it to me the best a long time ago. It's like getting into, and this is when Rondé was playing, 16 games, 16 car crashes in a year. Oh, and by the way, they're back-to-back weeks. It's like getting in a car crash with your body. Okay. And it takes an entire week for your body to recover just so you can possibly play again on Sunday and get another car crash. Football is a collision sport, not a contact sport. This league has got to look out for the players. It's going to create a better product. You're going to have better performances. You're going to have less injuries if you go to 2 bye weeks. And I don't care about the Super Bowl. Push it back to the middle of February. What the hell are we doing in February anyways? Who gives a crap about the NBA or the NHL in February? Their season's not over till June, okay? Yeah. Push the Super Bowl back. Create an extra bye week for these teams. You're going to have a better product and less injuries.
You could put the Super Bowl on the 4th of July, and everybody would watch.
Absolutely.
Like, it's the Super Bowl. We're all going to watch. I don't care if it's second week of February, last week of February.
Right.
Put it up against March Madness for all I care.
Exactly. Yes.
Paul Morale. No, we got to that one. Sorry. Mr. King, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, this team isn't good. The Cards at 3-5 have a better point differential than the Bucs. Enjoy the 4-game losing streak and being NFC South merchants.
Wow.
I like that last line.
Some of you Bucs fans, I love you. You're passionate. We appreciate all this, but man, it's like, who knows what's going to happen next week, Matt? Who knows? The Buccaneers might fix things this week. They might get takeaways. They might get touchdowns rather than field goals. You just don't know, man. You don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not going to write this team off.
A funny way of evening things out. I think the Panthers are a great example. They go to Lambeau, beat the Packers, and then they lose to the Saints today.
Yes.
The NFL still has a lot of power.
Yep.
Mark Fisher, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says, 3rd down defense is what killed us, even as our offense misses something, as long as coaches tell humanity to run.
It wasn't 3rd downs with the problem. I mean, maybe there was a touchdown on one of these 3rd downs. I got to go back and look at the game book. But, I mean, the Bucs defense, they held the Patriots to 5 of 14 on 3rd downs.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was 3rd down that was the problem. Giving up the big plays was the problem. Giving up the home run touchdowns. And like you said, Matt, 4 scores for New England, and all of them were touchdowns, no field goals, right? And that was the difference in the game. It
really was. Jordy Peterson, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Says Grizzard's inability to play the hot hand at running back (Tucker) was a major red flag. He isn't it, and will cost us in the playoffs. We need to fix this and fast. I hope you all press them hard on questions. One thing I was thinking is, we're not going to hear too much Josh Grizzard, head coach next season conversations, which I guess can be good for for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I still have belief in Josh Grizzard as a coach and play caller overall.
Yeah.
He certainly, as we said before the season, there's going to be growing pains, and right now there are some growing pains. I thought the running back rotation was pretty good, though.
Yeah, I would be fine seeing more Sean Tucker. I just think that he's the more explosive back right now. Not that Rashad doesn't have a place in this offense, but yeah, while Bucky's not playing, I'd like to see more of Sean Tucker. At 5.9 yards per carry, the only running back to go over 50 yards this season against the Patriots' #1 ranked rush defense. That to me should earn you some more carries. Again, keep in mind, Dave Canales, in his lone season as the offensive play caller, and I have to go back in my mind here, none of the Buccaneer offensive starters that year, I don't think, missed a game in 2023. That was the healthiest Buccaneer team in recent memory. So he had a full deck every single week. We talked about Liam Cohen, how he had the majority offensive line, didn't have Chris for half the season, didn't have Mike for 3 games. Otherwise, pretty much all hands on deck. It has been a nightmare for Josh Grizzard. It's like when you're starting to figure out the puzzle, right? You're doing like a jigsaw puzzle on the table, Matt, and then your kid just comes and just like smacks the whole puzzle off the table onto the floor. You're like, what have you done? Now you're trying to put the puzzle pieces back together. That's kind of what he's dealing with. No excuses. That's reality, man. I can show you the injury report if you don't believe me, but like it's causing this team to not be as crisp and consistent and have the chemistry that we all want it to see.
Yeah, even Baker said it, can't be an excuse anymore. Mark Fisher, thanks for the $1.99 super chat, says, coaches tell Baker not to run. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I think he's not getting the clear escape lanes that we saw him take earlier this season, and I don't think he's feeling like running right now, to be honest.
Yeah, teams just game plan for it more.
Yeah.
King HLL and GHD. Thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says, it's okay, guys. Light still has all of his draft picks, so surely he's going to fix all of the holes on defense. Too bad that does nothing to help this year.
We'll see how it plays out in the end. Again, any defensive player that Todd Bowles would have acquired on defense is not playing in this game, would not have helped today. Down the road against the Panthers, maybe. Down the road against the Cardinals, maybe. Yes. But in these next 2 or 3 games, Todd Bowles is not going to put a player out there that doesn't know what they're doing, regardless of how experienced they are.
Yeah.
The only time we've ever seen that is when literally he has to grab someone like Richard Sherman off the street because he has like 4 out of his 5 cornerbacks out,
right?
Which was the case back in 2022. He's literally grabbing guys, Pierre Desir and Richard Sherman, off the street and just say, play football, and I'll try to call soft prevent defense, and you guys just rally and make the tackle and give up catches.
And Richard Sherman had a fumble recovery in that game. That was the Tom Brady return to
That's right.
New England.
That's right.
He and the Bucs won. Twan Blow, thanks for the $2 super chat, says, the team lacks talent. Jason Light problem. Fact. I don't think that could be further from the truth.
Yeah,
I mean,
not at all.
Some of their top talent has injuries, but like, okay, defense. You have Antoine Winfield Jr., Tyke Smith, fantastic. Yeah. Jamel Dean playing at an all-time level. Zion still playing good. Doesn't have an interception. Yeah. Offensively, Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, Emeka Buka, Baker Mayfield. This team has plenty of talent.
Yeah. Here's the injured reserve list. Mike Evans, first-round pick, IR. Kalijah Cansey, first-round pick, IR. Cody Mauch, second-round pick, IR. Jalen McMillan, third-round pick, IR. David Walker, fourth-round pick, IR. And, of course, J.J. Roberts is on there. Kokeeft is on there. Rashad Wisdom is on there. And we haven't seen Bucky Irving since the Eagles game. We haven't seen Chris Godwin since the Seahawks game. There's your talent, folks. Right there. And everybody that you mentioned, Matt, I agree, talented player. They're playing, but damn, that's a lot of talented players not playing right now for the Bucs. So it's not lack of talent, it's lack of healthy bodies.
Yeah. Ryan H., thanks for the $4.99. If we lose Mike and Chris can't come back next year, I have a bad feeling this team a bad feeling about this team in the near term.
I don't. There's enough talent in this team. They can win the NFC South. And I hate to tell you, like, we all give Jason Light props for drafting offensive linemen. I don't know, he's done pretty good at wide receiver.
Yeah.
drafting the 2 best wide receivers in franchise history. We feel pretty good about Emeka Egbuka, don't we? We feel pretty good about Tez Johnson, don't we? Jalen McMillan was having a fantastic preseason, had a good end of last year. I think when he's healthy, I think he's fine. He's 3rd-round draft pick. Are they going to draft another wide receiver next year? Have to. I have no idea what's going to happen with Chris Godwin. I have no idea, like 0 idea what's going to happen. Some of those possibilities are bad, like really bad. And some of them, we'll see. I don't know. Is this Mike's last hurrah? I don't know that he wants to go out like this, Matt. I think he's back for another year. But you can't count on that, and you can't count on him to not get injured next year at age 33. So he's going to have to continue to draft wide receivers, and I trust him because look what they've done so far.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding with this group.
Yeah.
Drillman32, thank you for the $5 super chat. Selfish in the run fits. Zion seems hurt, real lazy in coverage. Grizzard threw on 3rd and short 4 times in a row without conversion.
Yeah, and I got to go back and see begin. And trust me, I am not trying to cover for Baker, nor am I trying to cover for Grizzard. But it might have been a run that Baker checked out because Baker was doing a lot of canning today at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
he did that quite a bit. So we don't know. We don't know if Baker is checking from run to pass, from run to run, from pass to pass, from pass to run. Don't know. We don't know what the original call was. All we know is what the can call, or I should say what the can call was not going to be. All we saw was the play that was actually run. So have no idea if he's making the right calls or ultimately Baker's making some wrong calls. If he's checking out of plays that would have worked. We have no idea. But yeah, the play calling was very up and down today. Baker Mayfield's performance, very up and down today. It was inconsistent. An inconsistent play against the Saints, you get a win when the defense plays like that. Inconsistent against good teams like the Eagles, the Lions, the Patriots, and you get an L. And the Bucs took the L today.
And that's what took place. Khalif Young, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says Grizzard doesn't know how to scheme based on the personnel that he has at his disposal. Bring up Brandon Johnson from the practice squad.
Does Brandon Johnson know the plays yet? I don't know. Dan Feeney, we've seen him emerge as a starter. Matt, remember when Feeney was added, he suited up for the Jets game in an emergency capacity. Didn't start against the Jets. Didn't start against the Eagles. Didn't start against the 49ers, right? Luke Haggard injures his shoulder. And then the next game, did he start? No, they went to Michael Jordan, right? Against the Lions. Feeney didn't get the start until the Saints. Why? It's not due to a lack of experience. He has plenty of that. It's because he had to learn the offense. Again, guys, I play Madden too, and you can make those trades and you can stick the player in and they will play up to their ratings, and that's the beauty of that. It is not that way in real life. When you acquire a player via trade, yeah, at wide receiver, sometimes you can go in there with a real basic package and run routes and get open and use your talent. Easier to do at wide receiver, probably easier to do at running back. Offensive line, when you are a part of a when you're a spoke in the wheel, it is harder to do. You got to have chemistry with the guys playing next to you, the center and the tackle. You got to be able to pass off stunts with your tackle, right? You got to be able to fit your double teams with your center. It's a lot that goes into it. And if you make the wrong mistake up front, it can get your quarterback killed. It can get the running back stuffed on a key third down. So Dan Feeney, for all of his experience, didn't start until the Saints game for a reason. So please understand, this is not plug and play. This is not trade for a guy. He's going to step in and boom, problem solved. It doesn't work that way. That's simply not reality.
Unfortunately not. Carlos R., thanks for the $10. Bull's lack of intensity has to impact the team. Never yells at a player or ref on the sidelines. You can save it all for the locker room. Some players on this team need to be chewed out in real time. I mean, Bowles has been pretty steadfast about his philosophy. He doesn't want to panic. Therefore, all the players don't panic.
Yeah.
I think he's got a pretty good track record here in Tampa of like his way typically works. But at the same time, I think the Bucs need to get to a point where they avoid these big losing streaks, and they haven't been on that losing streak just yet.
Yeah.
But if they were to lose the next 2 games, that's a 3-game losing streak. That's losing 4 of your last 5. Well, then it's kind of like, here we go again. And the Bucs are trying to scratch and claw out of a situation. I don't think the Bucs are in. Let's remember, they're 6-3. Like, they're still a good football team. I don't think it's time to say that the Bucs are in dire straits just yet.
Right.
And Todd Bowles needs to do something where everyone's going to go, whoa, I didn't see that coming from him. I'm sure Todd Bowles is saving that for like an NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl or something like that. I don't know if I don't know if you push the button just yet.
He gets on the players in meetings. He gets on the players in practice. I mean, he will yell and he'll get after players. Is he Bruce Arians? No. Is he John Gruden? No. But he's not Tony Dungy either. He will get on his players. I've talked to enough of them, and they will tell you. He just doesn't do it on Sundays because if a player makes a mistake, guess what? They realize that millions of people just watch them blow a coverage, right? That cost a touchdown. And that player feels like absolute crap about it. Do you think that the player is going to feel any better, that it's going to help that player the next time he goes out in the field if Todd Bowles comes over and starts cussing him out too? What are you going to say? If anything, you're going to be like, hey, man, snap clear. We're on to the next play, right? Bowles said he used to yell at players back in his day when he was coaching, and their brains would go scrambled eggs, and he would they would lose their composure. He has found with his coaching style, if he maintains calm and his composure, there's a better chance that the players follow suit. We'll see if it ends up in a Super Bowl championship for this guy, or if he's just not as good as Bruce Arians and John Gruden and Tony Dungy. We'll find out.
He also said that on the Pewter Report podcast, so definitely recommend checking out that episode.
Did.
Tusk3, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. They're lacking alphas. How many dudes on the roster would net a first to third in a trade? Jason Light needs to do better. How many more Logan Halls can they afford? They are not a playoff caliber team. They're a playoff caliber team. It's not like they got blown out by the Patriots today. They would have a lot of first to third round picks as well, but you don't trade Tristan Wirfs. You don't trade Antoine Winfield Jr. and other guys like that. So I don't understand that part of your comment. I appreciate the super chat nonetheless. But they drafted Logan. Every team makes bad draft picks. But Jason Light is able to combat it, as you said earlier this morning on the pregame show. Then they went out and drafted Kalijah Kancey. Elijah Roberts has been an absolute it's been a pleasure to watch Elijah Roberts play defensive tackle, recorded another sack today. He's done a great job for this team. So even if they make mistakes, they go and they try to fix it as soon as they possibly can. Yeah.
Logan Hall's not going to be re-signed, folks. All right. Yeah. They know the mistake that's been made. But the problem is when you're down Kalijah Kancey, it's all hands on deck. You need Logan Hall. As much as you would love to have a different player in there, they're playing Elijah Roberts more. They're playing Elijah Simmons more, right? So, sometimes you have to phase players off the roster. I remember Jerry Angelo saying to me one time, former Bucs personnel guy, he said, great, you want to cut Kenyatta Walker. Okay, who's the replacement? You don't cut guys until you have their replacement on this team. And guess what? Chris Braswell, he's going to be the next one. Shoot, they already drafted David Walker. David Walker would be out-snapping Chris Braswell right now if Walker was healthy. Okay, he was off to a great start, and we're not going to see David Walker until next year. But trust me, Jason Light has his eyeballs just like you and I do. He sees what you're seeing. It just sometimes this train is rolling, and you got to let it get into station before you can switch passengers.
Bucs Basement, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says, SR, are you still going to gaslight us into thinking Light did not need to make a move? Because shame on Jason Light. Dennis was abysmal, and we're about to go 0-3.
No, I'm not trying to gaslight anybody. I'm just trying to say you can trade. Let's say Jason Light traded for Quincy Wilson. Okay, I would have applauded that trade even for like a day 3 pick, whatever. Quincy Wilson was not going to play today. That's a Todd Bowles problem, maybe you're thinking. But, okay, Todd's not going to stick him out there and say, you're my starting linebacker, because he's going to say, I don't know what the calls are. I don't know what the audibles are. I guess you could give Levante David that responsibility. Levante David said on the record he doesn't like making calls. He doesn't want the responsibility. Okay? So again, I understand you're pissed off. Your team lost today, and I get that. I appreciate the passion, but you got to step back and look at this. This was a loss to a really good team. The Bucs are still 6-3. They have 2 more tough games coming up. Can this team lose 3 straight? Absolutely, they can. If they don't solve some of these problems, you're damn right they can lose to the Bills and lose to the Rams. I'm not making any excuses or apologies. That could happen. I still believe, and you said it, Matt. Look at the Panthers. They take it to the Packers up in Green Bay, and they come home and they lose to the Saints. This is the NFL. On any given Sunday, anything can happen.
By the way, Levante David said he didn't like calling plays while having a conversation with John Gruden on John Gruden's YouTube channel. You can see our interview with John Gruden when he was on the Pewter Report podcast last Monday.
That was a great show, man.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and that's on Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. So definitely still recommend checking out that episode. KGH for life, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, how many screens is Broussard going to run in a game?
Too many today. They didn't work.
That's the thing.
Sometimes
is they weren't effective. I don't mind if they're going to run more screens, but if they're not working, then maybe don't go to it as much. And the problem too, and you kind of mentioned it before, is like they go to it with Kate Otten, and you're talking about like a slower tight end. Those screens to tight ends are supposed to be like whoa, I didn't see that one coming. But they run it every single week. You know? Like they threw a screen to Sterling Shepard against the Saints. They did it again today. It's not surprising anyone with those screens.
Right.
Yes, a running back screen, like you expect it, but you can disguise it better than a tight end screen. Why? Because the running back is usually in there to pass block. Tight ends are there to chip and then go out and run. And I don't know, it just becomes a little bit more predictable.
Yeah, I agree.
Drillman32, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says, every loss isn't the end of the world. We lack variety on third down offensively. Defensively, I believe we went back to some predictable blitzes.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the finished product, folks. This is not who the Buccaneers are going to be every single week for the rest of the season. I mean, let's give this team some credit. They did go up to Seattle without Mike and with Chris being a shell of his former self, and they got into rhythm, and it looked great. They put up 38 points. Defense looked like crap in the second half of that game, but they have showed what they're capable of being when they don't make those self-inflicted wounds, right? When the passes are on target, when the passes are caught, when the protection is there, this team can be efficient, even on offense. We saw them run the ball better today than they have in a long time, right? That's something you can build on, and they did it with Dan Feeney and Michael Jordan at guard, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, step away from the sunshine skyway, folks. There's still plenty of football left to play. We knew this was going to be the toughest stretch of the season right here, especially, after we saw the Patriots rise up in terms of their rankings. And Patriots, again, they're a good team. They are. They deserve the win today because they didn't make as many self-inflicted wounds as the Bucs did. And they made some big plays where Tampa Bay didn't.
DSG Carlos, thanks for the $4.99. Realistically, there isn't much this team can do to improve. Got to stick with what we have and hope for the best. Play calling is a whole nother animal.
Oh, I think this team can play a lot better than what they've shown. Sterling Shepard, if he has a more nuanced route and doesn't just smash and throw his shoulder into the Patriots defender, Kate Otten's wide friggin' open and is running down to the 10-yard line. Instead, it was offensive pass interference. He's a veteran, 32-year-old player. He made a mistake. Clean up those mistakes. This offense is going to play better. It was those type of self-inflicted wounds that, like, you can't have. And that was a self-inflicted wound. That was not anything the Patriots did. That was the Buccaneers screwing up.
Right.
And some of the play calls were screwed up today. Some of Baker Mayfield's throws were screwed up today. Tristan Wirfs gave up a stupid sack.
Yeah.
Just got beat off the edge bad and gave up a sack. Like, come on, All-Pro. I mean, I'm just saying, it's like, to say that this team is as good as it's going to be, no, they can play a heck of a lot better. And I think Baker Mayfield being pissed off about it and taking ownership and saying, we're going to be pissed off about this loss. Everybody needs to be pissed off about it. Trust me, when they come back in the building tomorrow, because there's no victory Monday, they're going to be back in the building watching some tape. The tone's going to be set. Is it going to automatically work on Sunday against Buffalo? No, being pissed off does not equal win. But what it may mean is more of focus, attention to detail, eliminating the mistakes that keep coming back and biting you and playing better football. And if they do that, they'll have a chance in Buffalo.
They've said before they haven't played their best football, and that's evident.
I believe them. Yeah.
Bucs Basement, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. God help this defense when Levante retires. Well, when Levante decides to retire, they'll spend plenty of draft capital on an inside linebacker. They'll look at free agency. I mean,
for sure.
There's no replacing Levante David, but they'll come up with something. Josh Lewis, thanks for the $5 super chat. At least we're not the inconsistent Panthers, the hopeless Saints, or the shitbird Falcons. That's true. They all get in their own way, much worse than the Bucs get in their way. So,
right.
That's something
I'll remind you too, and it was a much healthier team in 2020. I'm not trying to draw parallels. I'm just trying to make you feel a little bit better, because I feel like I've kind of ruined, the mood here in this chat a little bit. But the Bucs were 7-4, Matt. Remember at the bye week, and they lost 3 close games, by 3 points. One was the Rams, one was the Chiefs, right? They weren't playing good football. Then they had the late season bye. They made some corrections and they got back on track. They heated up towards the end of the season. And we're still kind of at that midway point of the season now. This was game 9 for the Buccaneers. They're 6-3. There's still 8 games left, still half the season to go. Still plenty of time for this team to turn it around, turn it on, get maybe, Chris back, Bucky back, et cetera, and play better towards the end of the season. If that happens, remember, they're 6-3. That Tom Brady team that won the Super Bowl 7-4 at one point. So, or maybe was it 7-5? They might have been 7-5. I got to go back and check.
No, it's a good point. Alec Bickler, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. I hope we throw the bag at the best available offensive coordinator. I don't think they're going to jump ship on Josh Broussard. That wouldn't make sense.
Yep.
TJ Fuller, thank you for this $9.99 super chat. Says, facts, Scott, we are 6-3, still in command of the division. If the Bucs can get healthy at the right time, we can make a run. Evans at the end of the year, Bucky, just chill.
Yeah. They were 7-5. I just looked 7-5. Tom Brady Super Bowl season. They were 7-5. Right now, the Bucs are 6-3. And you know what? They might be at a point, Matt, when you look at the schedule that's coming up, there might be a point where the Buccaneers are an identical 7-5. Now they're going to be a lot more banged up than these particular than the 2020 team was. But I mean, let's just take a quick look, right? I mean, here you go. So let's say you lose the next 2 games, right? So the Buccaneers then would be 6-5. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
They're 6-3 now. If they lose the next, they'll be 6-5. Mm-hmm. And then if you beat the Arizona Cardinals, what's the record, Matt?
7-5. Oh, if they beat the Arizona Cardinals, they're 7-5.
There'll be 7-5. Then you beat the Saints, you're 8-5. You beat the Falcons, you're 9-5. See what I'm saying? It's like don't come down on this team and give up until it's over. And it's far from over. There are still 8 games left. And all I'm saying is the Bucs were 7-5 and won the Super Bowl. Now, I don't know that this is a Super Bowl team right now with all these injuries. We'll see. But there could be a point in time in just a matter of weeks, the Buccaneers could be 7-5 again. So, and maybe they'll be 8-4. Maybe they'll win one of these 2 games here. We'll see.
They don't have the Super Bowl offense right now, but if Mike Evans comes back and Bucky and Chris Godwin somehow is able to return, then that's a different conversation. Amazement 717, thanks for the $4.99. Last home game, MVP chance for Baker. Now they were for Drake May. Again, the double possession to me by the Pats was the difference. Touchdowns before and after the half. I thought that was a great job by New England, essentially taking a knee on 1st and goal to let the clock run so the Bucs wouldn't have gotten a chance. I've talked about kind of like trying to do something like that before, and they actually did it, and it worked. It almost backfired, but that was a heck of a throw by Drake May.
That's right.
Meets McGee, thanks for the $5. Got to give you 2 props. I do not have patience for Madden GMs. They know more than light. We should have traded 2 first picks for backups. It's part of being a fan,
Yep.
Say outrageous things.
I know.
Josh Lewis has now been a Pewter Report YouTube channel member
for
1 month. Says S&C staff get a lot of heat for injury, strength and conditioning staff.
Yeah.
Thoughts
The same strength conditioning staff that was here in 2023 when this Buccaneer team was one of the absolute healthiest that they've ever been. Some of these injuries, the hamstring injuries, are frustrating. Some of the injuries are, Cody Mauch's knee. That I don't think has anything to do with strength and conditioning, right? Kalijah Cansey's pec. I don't think anything. If you want some good news, folks, Bucky Irving was literally running down the tunnel to get to the locker room to change and get out of there. Bucky didn't like talking to media, and that's fine. But I mean, the foot looks fine. I think it's the shoulder now. He was literally sprinting down the concourse underneath the bowels of the stadium. Chris Godwin was walking. There's no limp or anything like that, with his leg. No brace that we saw, no wrap. He had, pants on. But Kalijah Cansey, his arm's not in a sling anymore. That's a good sign. Bucky Irving was in a shoulder sling, a couple weeks ago. He was not today. So, Kalijah Cansey's done for the year. But Bucky, Chris, we'll see. All hands on deck. We'll take him if they're ready.
Yeah, I think the strength and conditioning staff gets a lot of flack for stuff that's out of their control. Yeah. Bucks Basement, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says Bulls rested players all week. Dumb move. Every team rests their players on the bye. Yes. Every team gives their players a week off. All right, it's not a Bucks thing.
Yes, it's not. And this team needed it, man. They needed it. They just did.
Wait, you want Baker hobbling around on a week off, not preparing for an opponent, but throwing every day?
Yeah.
I don't know. Mace McGee, thanks for the $2 super chat, says T-Kraz catching hell from these.
I'm sure he is, just like we are from some of you guys. Love you, though. I love you. Appreciate you.
Mr. King, thanks for the $5 super chat, says, don't understand why they're attacking you, SR. Do you moonlight as Jason's personal advisor? Reality is injuries are the biggest factor in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I go head-to-head with Jason, too. You should see some of our texts. I mean, some of the things you guys think about, like maybe Graham Barton, who I think actually played pretty good today, if I'm being honest, at center. But
yeah, he was better.
Would I rather see him at guard? Yeah, I think he's an all-pro guard. I think he's Ali Marpet. But I don't know that Jason sees it that way. He drafted him to be a center. Okay, no one's always right all the time, right? Regardless of whether you're GM, whether you're publisher, whether you're radio host, whether you're awesome fan in the stands. Nobody's always right all the time, and that's life.
Al Bickler has been a YouTube channel member for 4 months now. Thank you very much. Cohen with wide receiver injuries too, and Noah Buka was 5th in points per game and 1st and 3rd downs. Grizzard has a worse O-line but better weapons. If Mike McDaniels is fired, he should be our offensive coordinator. I mean, Baker. The long-running joke is that Baker's never had the same offensive coordinator twice.
Yeah.
Let's give him a little bit of continuity. Huh?
Right,
huh?
Yeah.
Josh Lewis, thank you for the $2 super chat, says, I don't even know what that means. Is legit. I wouldn't call that a garbage touchdown. TJ 7RD. I don't know.
I mean, Tez had the garbage time touchdown. But, I mean, Tez is legit, He's getting better. I think ultimately, listen, going forward, if this wide receiving core, years post Mike and Chris, if it is Emeka Buka, Jalen McMillan, let's say he makes a full recovery, and Tez Johnson at 1, 2, and 3, and then you add in kind of a bigger bodied X receiver in the draft, so to where like you're really legit 4 deep with 4 talented guys like that. That's fantastic for Baker moving forward post Mike and Chris.
Yes, it is. HY Gibril, thank you for this. I don't know what type of currency it is, but it's 500. So thank you for this 500. Says, I don't think you've talked about how bad this O-line played, Tristan included. We mentioned Tristan Wirfs allowing a sack a little bit earlier. Very shocking, very surprising. I wouldn't say that the O-line was horribly bad. I mean, they ran the ball as good as anyone has against the Patriots, so they deserve credit.
You know what it is? It's one guy not doing a job on this play, one guy not doing a job on that play, and from an offensive line that needs to play as a unit, there was too much of that going on, right? And I think that was part of it. There were times where I think Baker Mayfield felt pressure that really wasn't there because he got clobbered the play before, right? So, and I think that, Baker mentioned that they have to get the right guys, the right fronts ID'd correctly, right? And so maybe he's seeing something that Graham Barton is seeing differently, KES, it means a Kenyan shilling from Kenya.
Oh, cool.
So we have that. I don't know if we've had a KES before. So thank you for bestowing us with,
thanks for making history.
Seemed like somewhere between like $2 and $5, I think was what that was. But we appreciate everybody's super chats.
Yeah,
big
absolutely.
or small. Thank you.
Josh Lewis, thanks for the $2 super chat. Says SR Madden ID. Let's play. LOL.
I don't play nearly as much as I used to. Arthritis is setting in. These are my hands now. Some of these have been as a result of damage from a block punt back in my crappy high school football days. But just, I don't have time to play during the season, but I will play some in the off season. Maybe we'll have a little Madden tourney at some point. My son Logan's better than me anyways. He says, Dad, let me play for you. I probably would have him. He'll be my champion instead of me playing.
Josh Lewis, thanks for the $5 super chat. Thank God we did not trade picks. Front office knows what they're doing. I'm still rooting for Chris Braswell, but he really makes it hard.
Listen, again, just to tell you about some strategy here, Jason Light, he knows what mistakes the front office has made. No GM, not even Jason's going to hit on every draft pick, right? Some draft picks they're okay players. Some are great players. Some are not great players at all. And you want to flush them off your roster. And I think, Chris Braswell, if he doesn't show signs of life this year, he's going to have a hard time making it in camp next year. I don't know that you're going to see Hassan Reddick resigns. I don't know if Hassan Reddick has done anything to deserve, getting signed. So maybe Jason goes out and tries free agency, gets another Shaq Barrett type. I'm not saying Shaq Barrett, but another free agent type. They tried with Hassan Reddick. Hasn't worked out. Maybe he tries a trade. He traded for Jason Pierre-Paul the 2018 offseason. So I know Jason loves to have a good pass rush. I know that for a fact. He puts a premium on that. That's why when you see the Vita Vea, the Logan Hall, the Kalijah Cansey, the Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, the Chris Braswell, the Yaya Diaby, that's a lot of first, second, and third round draft picks. Not all of them have hit by any means. There's been some busts in there for sure, but it's not for a lack of effort. And what that tells me is he believes in putting a lot of draft capital along the trenches, offense and defensive line. That's not going to change. He will keep putting draft capital in those positions until he finds the next Vita Vea up front. And hopefully that is a better edge rusher, right? That's what we want to see.
Buck Guy 89, thank you for the $5. Bunch of people who have never managed anything in their lives, and it shows in here. Sheesh. Great job with the honest, real coverage, fellas. Thank you. That's what we try to do. Call it like we see it.
Yeah.
Say some positive, say some negative. Let you know that the sky isn't falling. Maybe let you know it's not as great as you think it is. So
that's right.
Yeah. That's what we try to do.
This was a game the Buccaneers could have won.
Definitely.
And if not for some self-inflicted wounds, they should have won. But they didn't.
Agreed.
But they lost to a very good team who played better than the Bucs today. I'm not going to say they played better football, like they're the better team, but they played better than the Bucs today. That's why they won.
Right, and the Bucs have shown they haven't lost to a team that they should have beaten just yet. They didn't fall to the Saints. They didn't lose to the Falcons. They've beaten every team they should beat. They've had some good wins too against the 49ers and the Seahawks. Every loss that they've had hasn't been a shocking loss. That's what I'll say. Josh Lewis, thanks for the $2 super chat. We are also missing Kalijah Cansey, but Elijah Roberts is awesome. Elijah Roberts is really holding the mantle of making this a great draft class. Besides Emeka Egbuka and Tez Johnson.
Yeah. Also, too, I mean, he didn't play defensive tackle in college. He's learning how to play defensive tackle at the NFL level. And he's had to gain more weight and play a position that he's not used to playing. So, yeah, I'm impressed with him. He's got a bright future. He's got a good upside.
Friend of the program as well. Adrian McCaskill, thank you for the $4.99. We couldn't get home with our front four today. Hopefully we turn that around. That would help a lot.
Pass rush has got to get better. Yep. You got to win with takeaways and pressure on the quarterback, and didn't have enough in either category today. So this is This is just as much on Todd Bowles' defense as it is on his offense, and he said that today, Matt. He said we didn't find our rhythm offensively or defensively, and I forget which Pewter People member we had there pointed out, but yeah, that was a killer double whammy. Give up the touchdown to end the half, and then you have the touchdown right out of the gates at the start of the second half, and that's tough sledding.
Paul, a.k.a. OG Baker Bro, thanks for the $5, says, I appreciate SR being a voice of truth and reason. We are just pissed and venting. This stings, but we'll be okay. It's a good point.
I think,
and you know what?
Yeah, it is. It's a great point. And
we're
I think
happy
part of this too. Yeah. And I think part of this too is like, we want this team to win for you guys because you're the Buccaneer fans. You guys paint your faces, buy the jerseys, all that stuff. We're here to be the eyes and ears and sometimes the voice of reason for you guys. At the same time, though, me not getting emotionally invested in this, and sometimes my emotions go crazy like they did against the refs, right? I'm more anti-NFL than I'll ever be about anti-Buccaneers. We understand the team we cover, and we also see the hard work and effort and sweat and blood and tears that these coaches, players, and even front office put into this game. Like, there was no smiling in that locker room. Everybody was pissed off walking out, from Rob McCartney to Vita Vea. I was walking out with Tyke Smith. I mean, there was nobody was feeling good about this. And you guys are pissed off and you're venting, and we're here for you, like Matt said. Okay, we just want you to understand sky is not falling. I think Matt said it the best.
Meets McGee, thanks for the $2 super chat. Says,
yes,
you guys deserve a drink. Please do that.
Yes, I want more than water right now. Trust me. I like good football. I like watching good football. I like watching defense. I love that Saints game, the takeaways, the pick six, the sacks. That's my kind of football. I love the creativity we saw in the execution on that first drive. That was you couldn't have scripted a better first drive than the Bucs had against the Patriots today. Imaginative, non-predictable, new wrinkles. They just couldn't sustain that. But I mean, that's the kind of football I love to see. And when it's not like that, and you have some of these self-inflicted wounds, even me who's covering this team and covering the sport, I find it frustrating. I want to have a drink right now. I'm gonna have a drink, but I want something more potent than Dasani, Matt.
A little stronger. Scott Federico, thanks for the $4.99, says, question for all the naysayers. What was the Bucs record after 9 games in the 2021 Super Bowl winning season?
After 9 games, I have it pulled up right here, actually. Let's see. In 2020, they were in 9 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They were 6-3. Same record.
Bada bing, bada boom.
6-3. Yep. 6-3.
Brian Shucker, thanks for the $20 super chat. He says, driving back across the state, it was frustrating, but fun. On to next week. Yeah, I mean, if Bucs win next week, it makes this game a little more forgettable in terms of like, hey, this team's still on track. They can beat good teams, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So,
yeah. I will say this. We all want our teams to win, right? Whether it's a college team, whether it's your NFL team, whether it's a different sport, you want your team to win. Yeah. And when you get pissed off and disappointed and you're like, ugh, and your day's kind of ruined, I will say this. It lets us know that we're human beings. It lets us know we're alive. To feel those emotions, they're not as fun as the jubilation and the glee and the excitement of watching Baker Mayfield come back and beat the Texans or come back and beat the Falcons, where this team just lay it on the 49ers. It's the exact opposite, but it's still feelings nonetheless. It lets us know we're alive, man. And there's something to that as human beings.
It's good to feel feelings.
It's good to feel feelings. It is.
Thank you for the $2 super chat. Says, will Bucky be back soon? Well, Scott was saying before that he was sprinting up and down the tunnels.
He was.
Usually a good sign.
Again, I think with Bucky, it's going to be the shoulder more than anything, right? Because that when you're running back, guess what? You're taking on people that are trying to tackle you. You got to put a shoulder into it. I think more so than anything, that's going to be what's slowing Bucky down. It doesn't seem like the foot. I mean, he was running and dancing. Talking before the game with Sterling Shepard, I mean, he was jumping up and down. The foot looks fine. I think it's the shoulder more than anything. And so we'll see how quickly that shoulder can get on the mend. But I would say Bucky probably before Chris comes back. And, If you watch my Pewter Pulse video, I have no idea what's happening with Chris Godwin. I don't.
Yeah. Josh Lewis, thanks for the $2 super chat. Says, Maddie, we love you too, boss. Good job, guys. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Love our fans. And Heath Wiggins, parentheses, 49er Buccaneers with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. And Cecil with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Says, why not steal Isaiah Simmons off of Green Bay's practice squad? Has to be better than Dennis. We are hurting for another linebacker.
Isaiah Simmons has been around the league. He's got first-round talent. He's an athlete, but he just is not that guy, and Madden, again, he might be better than Servatier Dennis with the ratings and the speed and that stuff. But
yeah,
again, I don't know. They're going to make a decision about Servatier Dennis. And Matt's right. They're going to draft a linebacker or two next year. They're going to go out and sign one if Levante David doesn't come back. Servatier Dennis is a placeholder right now, and we'll see how he finishes the season. Can he get better over the next 8 games? Yeah, he can. And we'll see if that happens. And maybe he's better as linebacker number 3. Maybe he's Kevin Minter rather than a starter. We'll see. The season is not yet written for him or this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team just yet. On the way out the door, I need to let you know that there's a free webinar coming your way from the folks at Immunity Financial. They've been huge partners with Pewter Report. They sponsor, as you know, the Bucs mailbag, which will come out tomorrow. Make sure that you take advantage of this free webinar. You do not have to be an Immunity Financial customer to take advantage of this. They're going to have, as seen on CNBC, Joe Terranova, who's a chief market strategist with Virtus Investment Partners. He is going to be on. This is a free event online Wednesday, November 12th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So we want you to watch the Pewter Report podcast, but at the same time, guess what? There's an archive of that. So if you want to skip out on our podcast, we'll forgive you, but make sure if you're going to do that, that you are watching the Immunity Financial free webinar. You can ask Joe Terranova questions. All you have to do is register at immunity.com/Joe, and he will be at your beck and call and able to answer questions. Again, do not have to be an Immunity Financial customer. They'd love for you to be one. I am one. And the folks over there will take great care of you if you decide to make them your home for your personal investments. But still, nonetheless, Immunity Financial doing a huge favor to anybody that's interested in market advice from a market strategist, and that is Joe Terranova. He is going to be on their webinar next Wednesday, November 12th at 4 p.m. Eastern. Register at immunity.com/Joe.
We have another super chat to get to real quick. Josh Lewis, thanks for the $2. What linebackers in college are you guys looking at now? I think you mentioned some Texas Tech players that have really caught your eye.
Jacob Rodriguez, man, 7 forced fumbles to lead college football. He had 2 against my Wildcats. He had another interception. He's already got 2, I think, on the year. He had a pick 6 last year. He had an interception against BYU. The BYU linebackers, Kelly and Blasker, really caught my eye. I've had my eye on Blasker for a while. Big dude, like 6'5", good pass rusher, hard to throw over in coverage. He's got a couple of interceptions in his career. I kind of have my eyes in the Big 12 right now. Ohio State's got a couple, Sonny Styles. He's probably going to be in that range where Arvell Reese is not. He's probably a top 5, top 10 guy. CJ Allen from Georgia, I think, has caught my attention as well. There'll be plenty of time. We're looking at linebackers. This is a great linebacker draft coming up. Last year's class was not one of the worst linebacker classes in some time. But Pewter Report will be at the Senior Bowl. We will be at the Indianapolis Scouting Combine. Nobody covers the draft like we do. Thankfully, Matt, we're still months away from that. There's still playoff football to be had. We'll see how far this team can go. We'll see where they end up picking in the draft. But hang on. Help is on the way at linebacker in 2026.
Yes, it is. So we're going to have a Pewter Report podcast tomorrow at 4 p.m. Talk a little bit more about this game, recap what we heard from Todd Bowles as well on his Monday press conference. But until then, if you're not already doing so, make sure you're following us on all of our social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram. We're at Pewter Report. And our YouTube channel is PewterReportTV. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment on this video how you feel about the Bucs after this tough loss today. That's going to do it for this post-game show. For Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll see you soon for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.
Out.